following Jesus. To those of us who have eyes that see and ears that hear, as we read at Matthew chapter 13 and verse 16, the message that Jesus brought to his followers, a message of good news of great joy that will be for all the people, as Luke chapter 2 verses 10 and 11 says, plus an unbelievable offer to follow him, copying his pattern, and becoming a member of his bride and priesthood, still find it difficult to believe such an offer is made to us. Perhaps that is why we are given assurance of these promises by the apostles in their writings. See 2 Corinthians chapter 15 verses 51 to 54 and 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 4, also Revelation chapter 5 verse 9 and 10 and chapter 14 verses 1 through 5, etc. Since this invitation has been extended to us, let us review what is expected of us, that our teacher, guide, and master has given as his clear instructions. In Matthew chapter 10, verses 37 through 39, Jesus said, "Anyone who loves his father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves his son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And anyone who does not take up his cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it." The Apostle Paul said, "I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me." At Galatians chapter 2, verse 20, that must be our goal. Christ in you, the only hope of glory, as Colossians chapter 1 verse 27 says. How does this take place? Jesus gives us the answer in John chapter 14 verse 23. "If anyone loves me, he will obey my teaching. My Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him." So then, what is this teaching that Jesus gave us? When he was asked, "What is the greatest commandment of all?" we know his reply is found in Matthew chapter 22 and verses 37 through 40, and Mark chapter 12 verses 28 through 31. Then at the Last Supper he gave them another commandment. "A new commandment I give you. Love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another." At John chapter 13 verses 34 and 35. To emphasize this point, he repeated it in John chapter 15 verses 12 and 13, saying, "My command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends." This must be our life's guiding principle if we would be true followers of Jesus. Love is not merely a noun, it must be a verb in our lives shown forth in our actions. Listen to the Apostle John in his first epistle. "We know we have passed from death to life because we love our brothers. Anyone who does not love remains in death. This is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers. If anyone has material possessions and sees his brother in need but has no pity on him, how can the love of God be in him? Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth, and how we set our hearts at rest in his presence." From 1 John chapter 3, verses 14 and 16 through 19. In James chapter 2, verses 8, 14, and 17, he states, "If you really keep the royal law found in Scripture, love your neighbor as yourself, you are doing right. Then he asks, what good is it? My brothers, if a man claims to have faith but has no deeds, can such faith save him? Suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food. If one of you says to them, go, I wish you well, keep warm and well fed, but does nothing about their physical needs, what good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead. During the early years of the church, the brethren in Jerusalem fell upon hard times, both financially and with persecution. See Acts chapter 8. In his first letter to the Corinthian church, about the year AD 55, Paul encourages taking a collection for the Jerusalem congregation. See 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verses 1 through 4. He follows up on this request in his second letter. See 2 Corinthians chapter 8, verses 7 through 9. We therefore have clear examples of how we are to lay down our lives for our brethren, both individually and to congregations. We are not actually dying by so doing, but we are being crucified as living sacrifices. See Romans chapter 12, verse 1. Through Jesus, therefore, let us continually offer to God a sacrifice of praise, the fruit of lips that confess His name and do not forget to do good, and to share with others, for with such sacrifices God is well pleased. As it says in Hebrews chapter 13, verses 15 and 16. Finally, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all people, especially to those who belong to the family of believers. Galatians chapter 6, verses 9 and 10. Article by Brother Dan Annis for cdmi.org.